Yeah, welcome back to Occultists Anonymous, brought to you by Roll20, Onyx Path, and viewers like you. Very special shout out to our patrons. You guys are awesome. We greatly appreciate what you guys do. It's kind of ridiculous that there are 14 of you that actually support us. Okay, listen here.
It's just silent. Little button.
There, it's silent now. Golly. And it's the same messages over and over. I don't get it. Yes, thank you to our patrons. Back to my phone. I'm gonna that sound now. I need to change it or something. Anyways, but yes, thank you to Alexander, Brandon, Claire, Danny, Giovanni, James, Josh, Cat Feathers, Michael, Noba, Perry, Ryan, Samuel, Schmitty, and Thomas. Thank you guys for your support. If you want to do that too, you can come by patreon.com/occultistanonymous and sign up. If you actually do the $10 tier, you actually have access to the notes that I make for all these different characters and stuff like that. And you can see the notes that they make on my notes, which is really terrific.
They're very good and totally in character.
Yeah, some of them are. Wyrd's journals, definitely in character. Chris's notes, no. So
there's a lot of emojis.
And must ask him a question about his ex, which I guess that might be in character. Anyways,
that would be in character.
When we last left, the Cabal had gotten back together, figured out what was going on with Mammon, shared their conspiracy theories and thoughts on what was going on. They kind of hugged out some tension that was there between Songbird and Wyrd, but it's still there. Atratus came out and messed with melted a kitchen chair and then turned that into jewelry. And last I checked, there's still a puddle of chair.
Yeah, it would have solidified at this point. There's just kind of like a disc.
Yeah,
it's probably pretty cool looking.
Yeah. And then Wyrd decided to go into her own soul. Which is where we pick up, because let's be honest, where else would we pick up? And yes, so there is this woman, blonde hair, white, kind of the peasant, shirt kind of undone just a little bit. The leather around like we said, Tiefling Rogue. If you're unsure of what we're talking about, go put it in Pinterest. You'll figure it out real quick. Long skirt, and she's got a torch, and she's kind of stepping down, along some rocks and coming down to this elf figure that is Wyrd, kind of looking down and holding the thing and kind of look. She nudges some spear points away from being right up in your face, and says, "And who are you, little one?" And kind of extends a hand down to help you get up out of the water and off the kind of muddy shore.
So I reach up and take the hand, and I say, "I'm Wyrd."
Indeed.
No. Yes. I'm
in
Wyrd,
universe ding.
I meant it as a Wyrd with the Y, as my name.
And you watch as everybody kind of steps back, at the, you are fate, you are, destiny and doom. They're kind of looking at you, and you're already picking up some anachronisms here. The clothing is kind of odd. The fact that they know Wyrd and Wyrd, which one definition gave way to the other definition. And she looks down and says, "Well, very well. I'm sure you've come here for some reason. No chance you're here to save us in our desperate time of need?"
Maybe. It looks like I have some things to clean up and conflicts to resolve.
Did you cause this?
I don't know if there's a direct line between cause, like a direct cause and effect line, but I might be able to help.
Help we can use. And she kind of looks you up and down, and because if I remember correctly, you have the Tinkerbell Peter Pan outfit. Oh, you do have your sword. That's right.
Yes.
Yeah. So she kind of eyes that up, and she's, "Well, if you're any good with that? Perhaps you'll slow one or two when we try to escape or something. I don't know. Come on. And she kind of ushers you up, past these like huts and stuff like that, and kind of walks you up. For those of you in Roll20, which is them, not you. Sorry, guys.
Just us.
There's this huge structure that has started to crumble and is showing some wear and tear, some awesome we'll say castle from a time long lost, right? And dotted here and there, in and amongst it, you can see what look like villagers and peasants and just normal workman people. And she kind of leads you up. She says, "We've been hounded by the masked men," and kind of points out towards with the torch towards this, from where you're sitting, this kind of sea of tents and cook fires and stuff like that, banners and pennants and stuff like that, an army sitting out there. And then she kind of points back with her torch back the other way towards this dark and foreboding kind of forest and the painted ones that come from. And we live here in the middle, and they want to kill each other, and we're in the way. And if we attempt to run to one or the other, we'll be cut down, because the masked men think we're with the painted ones think we're with the masked men, and we're stuck in the middle. So yes, if you have any brilliant help, we'd love to see it. I'm pretty sure that when the moon sets and the sun rises, we'll be killed.
No pressure.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm assuming the masked men are closest?
They're equidistant.
Okay.
Yeah, because you can see, battle lines out that way, hedges of, like they're preparing to, stop a cavalry charge from these little villagers. And then the forest is, close enough that you could go get wood from it, but, they're not parked right up against it.
I do not like the look of the woods. I don't think I'm ready for that yet, so I'm going to go towards the army, I guess.
And you're saying that, or?
No, like I just kind of look and like, nah, and then look towards the army like, okay, I'll start there.
Like, you're going to go?
I'm going to try and see what I can do to resolve some of this. So tell me about the masked men.
They want to stomp out anything that isn't them. They will the two factions are forever at war, as far as we can see. We're just in the middle. The masked men want to pave over all of this. They want to build their grand castles and their bastions. They want to have armies march through and conquer everything and rule everything and have total control. And these, wild, manic pixie and... I'm sorry, is pixie a bad word?
No.
Oh, okay. Pixies and elves and other foresty beasts and savage unicorns and whatever. Every nightmare and dream you've ever heard of. And they just want everybody to be free and to throw off the bonds that bind them together. Man and wife no longer. Go be free and fuck whoever you want. And they're absolutely chaotic. And they just want to, everybody to cast off and get lost in a Dionysian bacchanal.
So I'm going to take a sip of my emotional support tea. Yeah, I guess I'm going to start with the masked men. We'll see what I can do there. Do you guys have a leader, or are you it?
Yes, I guess I am it.
Okay. Well, so hunker down, try and leave an open space between the two groups in case they attack again. and I'll go see what I can do about the masked men.
Okay. Good luck, Wyrd. And she kind of,
Thanks.
steps back and, and you can see, like I said, there's wooden palisades that are up here and there, and they're very shoddily put together. You can recognize some stuff where, like, there's drawers and, like what used to be a cupboard has been absolutely just completely undone and just shunted and nailed up against to try and make these things. And it looks like, what was a village has been basically converted into these battlements and stuff like that. And she kind of, motions for you to, head on down. Good luck, and kind of pats you on the shoulder.
Okay. So I'm going to approach the battlements.
Okay. The masked men?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The masked men.
Cool. Now you are walking out in the dark. Like I said, full moon, you can see pretty well.
Oh, yeah, right. Can I borrow your torch?
Oh, this one's mine. But yes.
Okay.
And hands it to
All
you, and she'll, there's, fires and stuff like that. So there's plenty of light here. Mm-hmm.
All right. So I'm going to hold the torch aloft and, like, other hand up, and I'm walking towards the battlements.
Gotcha. And you make your way, and it's a 15-minute walk. There's this long stretch. You have 15 minutes of time to yourself, which I'm pretty sure right now is not the best.
No, not really.
As you get closer, there's call outs and some bells ringing and stuff like that, and a section of, and like I said, this extends as far as you can see out that way, as far as you can see out that way, and it's just this oppressive curve. And behind you, you can see past the structure, the forest does the same. This section, starts to come alight. Some torches are raised and stuff like that.
So I call out, Parley,
parlay,
as you wish.
Out from this mingling mass that you can kind of make out just from glinting metal and stuff like that, comes this it looks like a knight. Everything you would expect. Let us kind of tweak that. More of a Roman knight, right?
Okay.
Yeah, the cuirass and stuff like that. The big visor, the mohawk helmet. So I slept. Well, I'm good. Glad this thing isn't working. Kind of comes out and stands, and you like Peter Pan pose, kind of looking out. And who calls for parlay?
Wyrd the Seer.
And there's immediate rumbles of and a lot of whispers and stuff like that. Who is that? Who do we know that name? Do they? And stuff like that. On whose authority do you come to parlay? Wyrd the Seer.
My own.
And there's some the fuck? What do you mean? It's their own authority. Okay. Well, very well. Approach.
Okay, so I approach.
Yep. And as you get closer, and the big stakes are easy to walk around. They're designed to stop a cavalry charge, not a person. And you come through, and there's a ring of soldiers in not quite a full phalanx, because they're in among tents and stuff like that, but they've got the big tower shields, and spears are down, and they're not tightened up, but they're watching, and their commander is just standing there weighing gold filigree and all these but it's all of mask symbols and blacks and blues and stuff like that. And now that you're a little bit closer, this guy's got this, great helmet, and it's got the big face mask. You have some, just expressionless man, and he pulls the helmet off, and, it's a young guy who looks very much like Stephen Klein. Stephen Klein? Is that the right name?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, Stephen Klein.
You're the commander here?
I'm the commander here, yes.
Who do you take your orders from?
From above.
That's where I want to go.
Don't think that's possible.
You're not able to do that?
No.
Or you don't have the authority to do that?
No, the orders come from above. And like he kind of points straight up.
All right.
And then kind of adjusts his to point out towards the moon.
Okay. How long have you been fighting? And what are you fighting over?
Our ever glorious army is always fighting, ever fighting, conquering anything that stands before us.
Why?
Because that's what the orders say.
Let me see these orders.
I mean, they're literally orders. They get passed down by messenger.
Right, so they're on paper? Parchment? Vellum?
No.
Or just a messenger shows up and tells you?
Exactly. Messenger from on high shows up and gives us orders, and then we march.
What form does this messenger take? Do they just fall out of the sky and...
Occasionally, but no, mostly speaking, talking birds. Ravens, crows, the occasional vulture.
So you're telling me that this entire army snaps to on the word of a bird?
Oh, sure, but it's a
Bird's
talking
the word.
bird.
Sure, it's a talking bird,
Mhm.
but it's just a bird.
Well, I mean, yes, but it comes from on high.
But
I love all of this so much.
yeah, lots of things come from on high.
How many talking birds have you ever met that come from on high?
Several, actually. And many of them were tricksters. That's the only justification you have for sending these people out to their deaths?
I mean,
is a talking bird told you to do it? Have you never questioned that?
I mean, that is what we do. We are raised and trained to go to war, and then we go to war and sell our lives.
Are you not trained to think?
Oh, yes.
To evaluate, to reason?
Yeah, he kind of motions out, and you see, do you not see our wonderful strategy here to keep them penned in?
Sure, keep them penned in, but you don't just keep them penned in, do you?
Oh, no, then we plot out strategy for charging and cutting down their lines.
Based on the words of a bird.
Or other messenger, but yeah, I mean birds, yes.
Does that seem reasonable to you? That a bird would come and tell you to do an attack and you would just go and do it?
I mean, that's how it's always been done.
But think about it. I could appear as a bird right now if I wanted to, and I could tell you to not fight. Would you just not fight then?
No, because you did not come from above. You came from here. You walked from the structure.
Okay. Do you have a catapult?
Launch yourself at the moon.
Hold, please. Do I say yes? Yes, of course we say yes. Of course I have a catapult.
So I could launch myself in a catapult and a light on my feet in front of you and say, stop fighting, and you would just stop fighting? I would have come from on high.
But not from the moon.
How big is your catapult?
I mean, it's catapult-sized catapult.
Okay. So, like, this is fairly terrifying for Wyrd. Like, that this exists inside her, this regimented, conquer everything sort of mentality or philosophy. So she's, like, trying to put on a brave face, but she's kind of freaking out a little bit that this is something
empathy?
that's within her. My empathy is not awful.
0 points.
Yeah, I don't know where I'm going to go with this. So has anyone ever been to the moon?
No, orders come from down to us.
And how often do those orders come?
Daily.
When is the next order due to come?
Sun up. When the moon sets.
And looking up at the sky, how long is that going to be roughly?
I mean, since you've been here, the moon has not moved at all.
Okay. So it might have been a long time. And it might still be a long time.
Mm-hmm.
But you have until the moon sets to fix this.
What's that?
The people said you have until the moon sets to fix this because they're both going to start fighting.
Yeah. Freaking fly! I don't need this distraction right now. Okay. So, how about if I make you an offer? That
depends on the offer.
For the time being, you stay behind your walls and don't leave them. And I'm going to go and see what I can do about what's going on in the forest.
You are going to go speak with those freaks?
Just like I'm speaking with you.
Are you calling me a freak?
No.
Well, okay then. Besides, that's what our orders are anyways. We're here to hold this ground.
So you will just hold this ground, stay behind this wall, and you will not be launching any attacks until I return.
Or until new orders come.
Makes sense.
I want a little more assurance. If I'm going to be in there talking to them, I don't want you coming through and killing me by mistake. Or something.
I mean, orders are orders.
Even if new orders come, well, right, but when orders come, it takes you time for those orders to propagate through all of your troops, correct?
Perhaps. Go ahead and roll. Presence
Sure.
plus persuasion at a -1.
Okay.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah. That was very well. I guess yes. It might take some time to propagate orders and spread them
So
about.
I'm just asking that those orders be conveyed in full, in great detail, and perhaps it might take a little extra time for those orders to reach.
He smiles. He recognizes a clever loophole and goes, "Yes, very well. Yes, I believe that. Yeah, if we receive orders to assault, we should be very clear about them. Yes, I think that's fair."
Excellent. Okay, thank you. And I will return.
Very well.
Okay, I'm getting the hell out of here. And then I start heading towards the forest. And then as I get close to the forest, like, oh shit, that's a dark forest. Okay.
Full of chaos.
Deep breath, and I walk into the forest.
And now, yeah. Are you carrying the torch? And by the way, just in case you want to, because in order to go there, you're passing by all the villagers and stuff like that, or just gonna straight to the forest.
I'm just going straight to the forest.
Okay. And then what about the torch? Sorry.
I'm taking the torch with me.
So yeah.
I want them to be able to see me.
Yep. And so as you kind of walk towards the forest, the torch lights up everything, and you can see this is a really, really nice forest. It's just really, really spooky because it's really dark right now. And your torch is, of course, flickering, casting all sorts of shadows. The moonlight is coming down, causing all sorts of, other shadows. And as you're walking, shadows are flickering, and then you're like, hang on. that was not my shadow. That was, something else. And there's all sorts of stuff moving and circling, and you can hear bird cries and bats, bat wings, and little whispers and little giggles, and it is absolute nightmare fuel mixed with happy giggly nice fairies, and it's just
I love it.
Yeah. I'm very into this.
So Wyrd just kind of stops and
once you're in, or just kind of at the edge.
Well, as I'm realizing what I'm about to get myself into, because this is too real.
Mm-hmm.
And just calls out from the edge of the forest. I don't think she can go in there. Hello, is there anyone there that will talk to me?
And there is a burst of cacophonous sounds, all sorts of screeching, scattering, loud ogre bellowing. It is full of every and there's probably a part of Wyrd's head where it goes, oh right, my out of control imagination just filling
That's it.
and ever so out from the gloom and darkness comes this painted up Amazon centaur s, right? She's all right, this is a mature stream, all right, guys, get over it. So, she's not wearing anything, but yeah, and she is painted up all over, and just, kind of war paint, body paint kind of stuff, and all sorts of vines and thorns and, leaves and stuff like that. Very druidic kind of look. And she's got like a bow held in one hand, and there's a quiver on her back. There's a like long lance basically strapped to her horse side that like in reach. She looks like a one woman army, one centaurus army, whatever. And kind of steps forward, and it's kind of funny because like you definitely felt like looking in there, these branches are really low even on you, and they would have been really enclosed, but she's easily double, triple your height, towering up, and has no problem moving through all these leaves and stuff like that. Like nothing moves out of the way, it's just there's nothing in the way for her. She kind of steps forward and kind of looks down and says, "Hello, tiny one. Have you come to join our revelry?"
I would love to join the revelry.
Oh, fabulous. Come on in then.
But wait.
Oh.
I'm not done. Joining the revelry would be wonderful, but I can't. Because there's some people here that are very afraid.
What are they afraid of?
Well, I point to the battlements. The forces arrayed behind the walls over there.
Absolutely. And we will smash them when they come.
Sure. And they have the same view of you, but there's some people that live in the ground between your two forces, and they're afraid. There's no revelry there.
As they should.
The soldiers feel revelry in the battle, in the glory and the chaos of war. And you're something similar for you as well, and there's revelries happening in the forest, and you're enjoying the chaos of an excellent party. But these people are cowering in fear, and they aren't able to partake in any of that.
Well, they should not support the masked men.
They don't support the masked men.
Well, then they should come join us.
They just wish to live their lives. But they can't because you and the masked men are fighting.
I mean, and you can see like this complete lack of comprehension that like she doesn't understand somebody not taking sides. And she's like, just
right.
They need to join us then. Come bring them over, and they will be safe, and we will guard them and protect them. And, when the masked men come, we will stomp over them.
But they aren't like you.
They could be.
And perhaps they could be. But they have lives of their own, and they have revelries of their own, and they have also order of their own. And the war between you and the masked men is interfering with their revelries and their lives. Now, you don't like the masked men encroaching on your territory and interfering in your ways, but you're encroaching on the ways of these people that live between you, just like the masked men. Now,
fuck yeah.
Enforcing your will on these people, isn't that the same thing that the masked men are trying to do to you? Is that revelry?
Oh, we hadn't thought about it that way before. Well, if they need our protection, then we will march out and protect them.
No, I'm not talking about marching. They just want to live their lives. They don't want to have order enforced on them by the masked men, and they don't want to have revelry enforced on them by you either. They want to be able to partake of the joys of the revelry, but also have order and organization as they choose. Just like you wish to have revelry all the time as you choose. And the masked men wish to have wards and battlements and tents as they choose.
They want both?
Sometimes people like to have a little taste of this and a little taste of that. When you go to a feast, do you just eat one dish the entire time?
I could, but I don't.
You could, but you don't because you choose not to. You like to sample the wide variety of the dishes that are set out on the table and drink the wide variety of drinks that are available to be consumed because you enjoy the variety. Correct?
Yes.
So you are a certain type of dish for these people. And
Just my
they
kind of dish.
enjoy tasting that dish, but they don't want to eat it all the time. Similarly, the masked men are kind of like another dish that the people like to sample, but they wouldn't want to eat it all the time. Does that help you understand where I'm coming from?
I do. I understand. So we should avoid the villagers when we go to attack the masked men.
That would be one way to do it, but what I was hoping for was something more.
Stop the war.
That you would stay in the forest and enjoy your revels and invite others to come and join you as they choose, but stay within the forest and not make more with the masked men. And if you would agree to that, I am certain I can get the masked men to stay in their orderly walls with their soldiers and their armor and live the life that they choose without interfering with your revelries either. Then there is no need for war, and the people that are trapped in the middle can partake of all the dishes that they wish, and none would interfere with the other.
This sounds really good. But how are you keeping the masked men from coming here? We were happy to stay in the forest, and then they showed up.
I have spoken to the masked men, and they have agreed that until I return, they will not be attacking. If I can get an agreement from you that you will stay within the forest and have your revelries there, I am certain I can convince the masked men to stay behind their walls and not interfere. Then you will have your territory unimpeded by anyone trying to impose order on you, and they will stay in their territory. But I need some place to start, and I was hoping you would be the voice of reason in all of this.
Go ahead and roll presence plus persuasion -2.
Presence plus persuasion 2?
-2. Sorry.
Ooh. Can I throw a willpower at that?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So +1.
Here you go.
Okay.
Yeah. So with 2 successes, he kind of looks down and says, "Very well. We will be the bigger men, and we will, hold back our charge. But if they encroach upon those lovable, greedy villagers who want to sample everything, then we will come out and march and save them."
Okay. For now, while I'm still talking to the masked men, I would like you to agree to not leave the forest.
Even if they march?
Even if they march, because I'm going to stop them from marching. But even if they march, I'm asking you to please not leave the forest. If they reach the forest, have your way with them. But I'm asking you, until we finish these negotiations, to not leave the forest.
Very well.
Please. Okay. I'm going to head back to the villagers.
Okay. And as you head back to the villagers, that moon has moved like whoop. It's not down. It's not down at the horizon.
Shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But there is, and you have a sense that like the moon didn't move until you looked up to check it, like on your way to the villagers. Like there was this, like you could, like the moonlight, the shadows, everything in the forest had stayed the same, and then all of a sudden, whoop.
Okay. So I go to the villagers.
Mm-hmm.
And lady there with a tiefling rogue is there with a...
Right.
Okay, I bought some time.
For what?
The painted men will not leave the forest.
Okay.
And the masked men will not leave their walls.
Okay.
Do you know how any of this started, or has it always just sort of been this way?
I mean, it's always been this way. There was another time, and she kind of gestures up towards this, grand structure that kind of sits between, and says there was another time, but none of us remember it.
No one remembers?
No one here, no one living. There was a time when neither were here, and our people lived in comfort and contentment. We weren't rich, we weren't poor, we weren't hungry, but we weren't, feasting. We lived in quiet, simple contentment, and there was more, but none of us here remember it.
All right. I've got to go back and talk to the masked men and see if I can close this deal. The painted men have agreed that if the masked men stay behind their walls, then the painted men will stay in the forest. And the lands in between should be safe then. But I've just got to go and try and convince the masked men to do that.
Okay.
Would you come with me?
And and she kind of looks back at all the villagers and stuff, and she goes, yeah, that perhaps if you think it'll help.
I'm trying to convince the masked men of the harm that they are causing the people that aren't their enemy. And I thought somebody who's actually lived through it might carry more weight with them. Because they don't have any interest in you or your people. But I don't think they realize that the harm that they're causing.
Okay. I will go with you. I trust you, Wyrd. You fell from the sky hours ago, but I trust you somehow.
Okay. We are heading to the masked men.
Sure. And as you guys are kind of walking along, the woman looks down at you and says, you're not doing half bad.
Yeah, I thought so. Thank you.
Yeah. You still got to figure this out.
Yeah, it might be longer to unravel entirely, but I should be able to at least get some peace going, right?
That'd be a good start. These guys are insane, by the way. Both sides. I don't know how you managed it, but yeah, get this fixed up, please. And then all of a sudden, just the face kind of, settles back down, and the worried, fearful villager, and she's taking holding the torch because she's taller than you. Yep.
Sure. All right. So we go see the commander.
Yep. And as you get a little bit closer, you hear Stephen Klein's voice call, "Parlay,
parlay," and walk up to see him.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I have a proposal to make.
And
he
kind of, yeah, exactly. He actually goes, "Who's getting married? Or am I marrying her?"
Not that kind of proposal.
Oh, very well.
So the magnitude of the rigid thinking is just blowing my mind. Okay. The painted men have agreed to stay within their forest.
Mm-hmm.
If you agree to stay behind your walls. Now, just let that think for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
And I turn to my friend the villager and I say, will you tell him how you met me?
You fell from the sky and splashed into our pond? And
I look at...
The commander goes, you did what? Why didn't you say that?
I didn't believe that you would believe me.
I mean, why would you lie about something like that? That seems absolutely ridiculous to say that you did, unless you actually did.
I didn't lie about it, and she's not lying either. I brought a witness so that you could trust my words.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Why wouldn't I trust you? Who would lie about falling from the sky into a pond? That's ridiculous.
I wasn't sure how well we were going to get along.
I think we get along pretty well, right? And there's a chorus of, yeah!
Yeah, okay. So here's your orders from on high. That you will stay behind these walls and not venture forth. If you do that, the painted men will stay in their forest, and they will trouble you no longer.
But we don't give up the territory we've conquered. That's ours.
You have your territory, and they have theirs. They will stay in the forest, and you will stay behind your walls. And the villagers will be left in peace. I don't know if you know this, but there's people living between you and the forest.
Sure, those painted men lovers.
No, they're not painted men lovers. They're just people.
But then why aren't they joining us?
because that's not their way. They just want to make a life and live in peace, have families.
And like there's a big like murmur from, oh, families. Yeah, we remember those.
And that's all that they want, is just to have a simple life and exist without troubling anyone. Some of them may like to spend time with you. Some of them may like to spend time in the forest. But there's still people that just want to live a life. So if you stay behind your walls, the painted men will stay in their forest, and then these poor people who have done nothing wrong to either side can live in peace.
The commander kind of looks back and forth, says, you all heard your orders, spread them. We don't cross the wall. And, ruckus and rabble. Some horns are blown, and new banners get waving around. You see every horns, semaphore. You swear you hear Morse code. Like there's just absolute bevy of communication being sent back and around.
Now, and I have one more order for you.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to take any more orders from birds.
Oh, who should we take orders from then?
How about if I come and get, or you know what? Her. Me or her. Does that, and I look at my daemon and say, how does that sound to you?
And she goes, yeah, I'm sure I don't have any reason to give them any orders, but, if it does come up, I guess I could.
Sure. So there's only one last thing we need to do. We need to meet in the middle, you and the leader of the painted men, and that way you both know that you've agreed to this.
You can see he's struggling. He goes, but that means they have to leave the force and I have to leave the walls.
Right. Well, this one time with me.
Okay, well, I guess you're giving the orders. Okay.
Okay.
And
everyone else stays here.
Yeah, no, we're good. You watch as he pulls the helmet off and he starts undoing his armor and stuff like that, and so he's down to just his tunic, and he's got a small little short sword. He's disarmed himself. He says, "Very well, I'm ready to meet the enemy."
Okay. And then we go to the midpoint, and I leave my daemon with him.
Sure.
Go to the forest and talk to the centaur.
Yep. And do the same thing. Yeah. And she comes out divesting herself.
Small dagger's okay, but no other weapons is good. And we come back and everybody shakes hands.
You got to leave the lance behind. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And she comes out and, is towering over Stephen Klein. Stephen Klein is kind of looking up going, yeah, no, that probably would have been a problem to fight.
Now, we both agree the painted men will stay in the forest and the masked men will stay behind their walls. But I would propose this, and you are free to just choose for your sides or not, that if a painted man or if a masked man leaves the walls without armor or weapons, that he would be free to walk into the forest and join the revelry.
Stephen Klein is aghast at the very idea, but he goes, very well, should it ever happen, very well.
Sure.
And yes.
And for the painted men, if some of you just want to see what's happening behind the walls, you can leave your armor and weapons and leave the forest, and you would be welcomed behind the walls.
I don't understand. Do they have parties over there?
They might.
Stephen Klein is over here. We do not have parties.
Well, but listen, I know soldiers, and I do know that soldiers like to relax every now and then, so maybe you could help them have a party.
And they're eyeing each other up, and it's anime as hell, but eventually Stephen Klein kind of puts his hand out, the Amazon Centaurus, reaches hand down, they shake and says, very well, and then kind of look at you. What next?
That's it. You go back to your forest and you go back to your walls, and these people get to live in peace.
Seemed easy enough. And the Centaurus kind of turns, and Klein is kind of, the commander is kind of looking, and that's it.
Okay.
Though. No more conquests, no more fighting, no more. You just sit around and practice.
And you sit around and guard the territory you've already claimed.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. Who knows who else might show up?
Exactly.
And you hear him like wandering, as he wanders back, you hear him talking about drills to run and practices and skirmishing and yeah. And then your daemon kind of looks at you and says, "Cool. You think that helped?"
I hope so, because I got a lot of stuff to sort out, so this might take a little while. But I think it's a good first step, don't you?
I do. I mean, you've got a lot to work with here in the middle, right? And you've got the potential to build something, but you got to be in the middle. And it's okay to, party in the forest occasionally, and it's okay to need to set up tents and go skirmish.
The problem I'm having is that it seems like I've only got extremes.
Yeah, you got to build the middle, because this, and she kind of motions back to the ramshackle remains of a village. She says, "We need some help here. Send us some building materials, some to work on. Something in the middle."
I got to try and find a way to resolve those extremes.
You don't have to get rid of them.
No. But how do I reconcile and I'm asking for help here. How do I reconcile my belief that power is dangerous and it should only go to the worthy against my desire to have every sleeper awaken and see the world for the beauty that it is?
Well, I can only tell you what you think, but it's okay to give people power tentatively. It's okay to, trust people provisionally, give them a little bit. If they've earned that, give them a little more until you feel comfortable trusting them. And if they do something completely untoward,
that's actually a good point. And helps me think of something else that I've been wrestling with a little bit.
And she
Let's table this. Let's table this for now, because I also have some work to do while I'm here. We need to get rid of everything Mammon and Todd Larson.
And she, leads you back over to the village, and she kind of motions at the various fires that are burning around, and you can look in and see, pieces of, furniture and stuff like that, but you recognize, symbols, lots of eyes and stuff like that are already burning. She's like, "Yep.
Working on it."
Okay. I think I'm going to have to come back and do more.
Yep.
There's a lot left to do.
There's a lot left to do. And hey, offload some of it.
What?
Yeah, if you've got problems, talk about them.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, things got a whole lot better when you started communicating, right? Come on, you got all the other metaphors. You missed that one?
Yeah.
It's the tough one, I know.
It's a tough one.
And hey,
okay.
You don't have to, you don't have to go to the Guardians. You don't have to go to Shodell. You can just talk to Songbird and Atratus. Heck, go grab that Gabe and just go chat his ear off.
That seems pretty safe, actually.
And nobody's torturing the dead guy. I'm just saying.
This is true. Okay. Thank you.
Thank me. It's all you.
Well, it's us.
Sure. Okay. I'll take credit. Absolutely.
Okay. Can I have a hug?
I like her.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, she pulls in, and you have a moment where you grab hold, and it's like, oh, this is warm and fuzzy. This is, me bonding with myself and being okay with myself, at least a little bit.
Okay. And then I'm going to say goodbye and head
Wake
out.
up. Yep.
Yeah.
Boom. wake up
Launched
as,
out of a catapult.
yeah, as the
Launched out of a
moon
catapult.
sets and the sun kind of rises, and you've got, this great panoramic Lord of the Rings shot of, the sun kind of shining down on the forest and glistening, pikemen and soldiers, looking, resplendent on their walls. And yeah.
And my last view before I leave is that big freaking castle.
Mm-hmm.
That is huge.
Yep.
Okay. We should probably put a link to that somewhere.
Yeah. I got to figure out who made it so I can give credit, and then yes. But
all right.
And then
that's it. I'm
Wyrd wakes up. Hey, Songbird, Atratus, how you guys doing today?
I'm good.
Yeah.
So now this is Monday morning. I'm pretty sure Songbird is basically hitting the gym and doing that stuff.
Pretty much all day, every day.
Okay. All day, you said?
Pretty much.
Okay. So yeah, Atratus, anything that you're basically up to?
I'm going to call up Gabe. Like, so we've been requested. So I need to cast my Speak with the Dead. Can I just say that?
Yeah, like I said, it's in your domain. You don't have to deal with reach. Yeah.
Okay. So we need to try to fix up what Mammon fucked up at the Mysterium.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I heard some of that, which, by the way, that's really fun. Hanging out, relaxing, hanging out near...
Max and Uncle.
Right, hanging near my anchor, and then suddenly you are gone. We need to talk to this He's a Kid. No, wait, Shodell. We need to talk to this Shodell. Not cool. But yeah, no, that's fine. I heard some of the phone calls, so yes, you can use me for my phenomenal lifting prowess.
Yeah, you also, the Athenaeum's full of ghosts. You have plenty of people you want to chat with, like you did at the party. These are like, they have jobs, I guess?
Mm-hmm. They're
Ghosts
also
and spirits.
nerd ghosts.
Nerds.
You don't have room to talk.
I'm just a ghost. Listen.
Mr. going for a PhD in chemical engineering.
Hey, that was Gabe, not me. Whatever.
Okay, do you need to give you a chem book and make you do the homework? Because you can.
I mean, I could, but I don't want to.
Okay. Well, anyway,
Yeah,
we
Oakham
have
sucks.
work to do. So let's go.
Yep. And so you guys head out to the Athenaeum. It is a, there's, just to zoom through some of it, there's a new pin and stuff like that. She takes the old one and drops it into like a barrel, and there's big labels on incinerator. Like, that's where that, pile of pins is headed. But yeah, downstairs, there is a, flurry of activity. You see a lot of folks you haven't seen before. And just based on their attire and stuff like that, a lot of them look like they're possibly like sleepwalkers. You do see a lot of the mages that you recognize, but it looks like a straight up, hey, we're going to work kind of, situation. And there's piles and piles of books everywhere. You recognize there's legitimately a couple like mages who are like guarding like piles of what looks like textbooks. Like there's like 4 of them standing in a ring around like 4 books. They're all stacked up neat and nice on the floor, and they are like watching, like nobody's allowed to get near these books, and different stuff like that. And elsewhere there's, some relics and stuff like that. So you've got a lot of these sensors? No. Can't remember. But yeah, some of the guys who are in charge of this is forbidden knowledge or dangerous knowledge needs to be, kept apart, kind of stuff. And then you've got lots of other folks. And yeah, like you mentioned, as you come down, there are definitely some folks who look, similar to Gabe in the fact that they are, they're ghostly and stuff like that, who are literally carrying stuff around and they're chit-chatting and talking. And, you definitely have actually just your peripheral mage site definitely goes off that there is like a huge wide speak with dead, speak with Goetia, speak with spirits kind of spell just layered over everything. And like, it's very
can I
weird.
see the spirits in Goetia now?
Yeah, so like, yeah, there are definitely like, there's a lot of folks who look human, but then you watch as literally some guy, some like spirit that looks, very like, it looks like a bunch of pages kind of wrapped together in kind of like a twisting humanoid tornado kind of shape that's moving along, and like they're actually talking to each other, and they're like, this is the greatest time, like we all work here but we never get a chance to talk, kind of stuff. Most of the spirits are going like whatever, they're doing spirit things, but the Goetia and the ghosts
just having a great time.
because there is literally like the epitome of like the schoolyard nerd, like broken glasses, pimply
Pocket
face.
protector.
Huh?
Pocket protector.
Oh yeah, legitimate. And he is like standing in the middle, like directing, like he is in his zone, and and various Goetia and stuff like that, who are just like, academics and stuff like that. You see literally Albert Einstein standing here talking with a couple others, as the Platonic Goetia ideal of Albert Einstein, who's hanging out, calling stuff out, and redirecting. A lot of.
Would you say
activity.
that he's trying to accomplish a Manhattan Project?
Right. Good. I hadn't planned that, but yeah. But yeah, if there, otherwise, you're welcome to get in there and start moving stuff. I don't know if there was something that you were specifically looking to do.
I mean, I was looking to do whatever they need me to do because I'm trying to be helpful, and I feel like I need to make up for this because it wasn't my fault, but he was like
He was in the cabal, yeah.
He was in my cabal. But I am just going to take a minute to be sort of awed by all of this because I have never seen most of these things.
Yeah, spirits and Goetia definitely not in your purview, so yeah. But yeah, for the most part, it's like there's a couple minutes of wow, this is really cool, and then
someone gives me a job.
Yeah. Like I said, the epitome of the schoolyard nerd, starts, it's like, hey, you're not carrying anything, come here, and starts redirecting stuff. But yeah,
okay,
that's definitely a couple hours in the morning, and before everything's kind of done up, and as things are kind of settling down, though, Oceans kind of like calls everybody together, and legitimately like pizza is being brought in like from upstairs, like they're being set out on like the tables that you guys have studied on, and she kind of comes out, she's like, all right, thank you everybody, I think we're fairly cleaned up here. The Hierarch and the Hierophant both appreciate you all coming in. Enjoy some pizza, drinks, whatever. Goetia, spirits, ghosts, you guys are relieved. If there's any spell duration left keeping you here, go enjoy it. Please don't cause any trouble. You hear Gabe, who's like been buried under books, goes, woohoo!
It's gone.
This is a reminder, this is a danger for us. Seers did get into our caucus. They were in the concilium. Please keep an eye out for somebody that is matching Mammon's description and like looks at you spots. Atratus, do you happen to know what his signature nimbus looks like?
I don't remember if I ever in character found out.
And I'm trying to remember, because I remember, did you have Mage Sight up when you first went to the Even Dirt? Yes, you did, because you saw Sylvia tinged with
Wyrd and I were looking at the gate, and I looked at Sylvia.
Okay, cool. So because when he cast command down there, you would have felt it, which is tugging at pockets and stuff in the
and whole, the smell of money.
Yep. So you relay that, and she lets everybody know that. And it's like, he may have changed his face, he may have changed his name, but that signature nimbus is gonna stick with him unless he does some major drastic stuff. So anything that sounds like that, looks like that, report it to the Guardians, or an adamantine arrow. That way they can investigate it. Do not do anything yourselves. That's not our job. That is what we give them knowledge for, so they can go be bruisers. And like you can definitely like she's not in a happy mood right now. But yeah, basically gives standing marching orders for keeping an eye out for somebody who looks like Todd, acts like Todd, or anything like that.
Do they know Graves Nimbus?
You tell them.
Yeah, I'm telling them that too. The seer that recruited them.
Yep.
It's like hands pressing on a balloon.
Yeah, that basically restricted pushing, pressing. Yep. So she's like, yeah, so keep an eye out for them. We will write those names and nimbuses down. She does the right word, I don't. Yeah, all right, well, thank you, everybody. Y'all are done as far as I can see. And she kind of pulls out a chair and sits down, and like she looks haggard. Hair is, normally she looks, pretty well together, and that professor look hasn't slept. Hair's kind of a mess. It's all up in like a really hasty bun or ponytail or something like that. And then like as she's sitting down, she like catches eyes with you and goes,
"Yeah, hey, sorry."
It's all right. Are you doing okay?
I'm all right. Like we were close, so that's okay. I'm more upset about that it's done all of this.
Yeah. I mean, it's a thing. We've done it before. We'll do it again. It's more scary the fact that they were after him and we didn't know about it beforehand. So if you do see him again, he's not necessarily a bad, evil guy. He's very easily been led astray.
He made a stupid decision.
Very well, yeah. But he's no longer welcome back in the Mysterium. Like, we have no idea. They could have put any number of things into his head. They could have messed with him. They could have been spying on him, seeing through his eyes. Who knows? If you see him, don't engage. Contact
just report
Wyrd or Songbird and let them handle it. They will probably have words of their own and orders to handle and how to deal with them. But Chris says, "Yeet into space." But otherwise, yeah, take some time for yourself. Relax. This is probably a pretty traumatic thing, even if you didn't know him very well. That is definitely a kind of betrayal of trust. I'm hoping that he sees through a bunch of lies. I mean, technically they can tell him a lot of truth too, but he needs to see past that. So
these guys said they had access to everything. Is that true?
I mean, potentially. Some of the Panopticon are connected to literally everything.
So there's literally nothing you can do if they want to find you?
Yeah, keeping your sympathetic name hidden helps, stuff like that. But don't worry, that's literally the prelates. Like, those are the people who have literally given over portions of their souls to the exarchs. They're not everywhere, much as they'd like us to think that they all call down power from on high or some shit like that.
I mean, this guy's we've seen him do most magic.
Yeah, but I mean, there's a big difference between being a learned caster and mage and somebody who's actually capable of calling on the exarchs. The exarchs are picky. And while, all the seers, I'll be honest, most of the seers at the bottom rung, they're given all sorts of spoils of war and all the luxuries they could ever want, and then they're called up to do some terrible, nasty things occasionally, and they're happy with that. They just want to sit back, relax, enjoy the good life, and use their magic to their own ends. And then occasionally they're called up to do something terrible or even something just bizarre. And, as long as it what they're doing doesn't go against their particular pylon or ministry or tetrarchy or whatever, then they can just sit back and enjoy the good life. And, enjoy the lap of luxury and, but most of them are blind to, the mysteries. They never dig into anything. They just sit back happy and they don't grow. They hit a plateau where they're like, oh, I'm happy. And then that's it. But, the Pentacle, we want more. The Silver Ladder and Guardians, and they really want more. But, I mean, Mysterium, we're after mysteries. We're after, learning and developing ourselves and learning more things and collecting. And the Seers collect stuff because they're greedy and they want to have things. They don't necessarily learn things. They're not supposed to.
Seems boring.
Yup. Yeah, back in my heyday, they tried to get me a couple times. But no, it's not worth giving up all this. Look at all this stuff. I could literally spend all day in here and learn something new.
No, today was, a lot of work, but also kind of amazing.
Yeah, it is kind of interesting watching the entire, well, not caucus, but all of us show up together and work, and yeah, it just brings a tear to your eye. It is bad.
Well, how are you doing? Like, are they done crying?
Oh no, they'll probably be at that for a week or so, but I'm used to it. My wife is used to weird intrusions and weird people coming and walking around our house and chanting weird things.
That's an odd thing to get used to.
Yeah, she fortunately just believes me when I say it's government work.
Okay.
Yep. It's a thing. I hope one day she awakens, because then this would be so much easier.
So much easier.
But until then, yeah, she just believes me when I say they're checking our house out for bugs from the Russian government.
Okay, well, that's good.
Yeah, I don't know how much she really believes, but yeah, she's used to it. She's okay. We're staying in a hotel, and we're a staycation for us, basically. It sucks, but it's fine. The Mysterium pays for it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I guess I'll head on home if we're done here.
Yeah, pretty much. He's mentioned that you have a line on something, so go find that, bring that back, and we'll have a happy little celebration. And
yeah, we can't keep it. It's not a thing. It belongs to Oneiros.
I heard. We'll make a copy.
But
we're definitely making a copy.
He gets it for a week. Was the rule.
Okay. Whole week?
Mm-hmm. That's what he said. He needs a week.
Thought it was a day.
No. No, that'll be good. And then the hierarch will be super happy that he put you all together, even if Mammon ended up being a lemon.
Can you tell us anything about the folks in Philadelphia? We know that they're free council. One of them is Benjamin Franklin.
Oh, good Lord. Yeah. The founding fathers, I don't have much interaction with them. The Athenaeum in Philadelphia is heavy on really, really esoteric mortal lore. So a lot of the immortal magician practitioners, these hunters, and stuff like that, they collect that kind of stuff. And some of that leads to Supernal. A lot of it is just stuff we really don't need sleepers messing with. The actual Necronomicon, wherever that's gone off to, they would love to have that. Things that let mortal people summon the dead. Yeah, that's their kind of bag. So I don't know how much that will help in your search, but I feel like their Athenaeum would not be keeping that codex. It doesn't feel like their kind of thing. So, but you can definitely check with them, and I'll let them know that you're coming and that you might have questions. If nothing else, you'll have a place to crash.
Mhm.
You at least appreciate the boards, the room and board that we provide.
Yep. All right. Well, thank you.
Yep.
I guess Gabe will find me later.
Yeah, go do that. Bye, darling.
Yep.
And she
I'll
gets up
head on home.
Oh, cool. Boom, boom, boom. Cool. So Wyrd, you wake up probably in the morning, between coming out of your, meditation and probably just zonking back out for the night. So here we are, Monday afternoon, morning, if Wyrd, depending on Wyrd wakes up. Anything else you guys have planned?
That was about all I had.
I want to call Steven.
Okay. And yeah, so you get to roll some lucky number. I'm trying to think, is there any downside to this? Yeah, I mean, you can decide to roll it, or you can just, because that's a 1 dot, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I ain't going to stress about it. So yeah, phone picks up. Mason residence.
It's a 2 dot.
Oh.
It's a 2 dot.
Yeah, let's go ahead and roll that just in case.
Sure. Fate and Gnosis.
Mm-hmm.
Do the spell template. Reach isn't an issue, right?
Nope. Where is it?
3.
2 dots.
I don't need any potency.
Nope.
Or duration or scale.
Nope.
This is right up my shtick, so using Wyrd the Seer, Shadow Name,
Yep.
plus Cabal. So 4 from there, and then 1 and 1, so 6 for tools.
Yep. Yeah, throw 12 dice at that thing.
Sure.
Natural bonus going to 5 though, right?
Oh, yeah, it would be just 5.
That's fine.
You're fine.
Oh, is it 5?
Right, because Yantra bonus.
Oh,
will
yeah,
cap out at 5.
sorry.
Okay. Yeah, that's it.
But the last one was a 2, we'll just cut that off. It's fine.
Yep.
2 successes.
Sure, storyteller. Yeah, no. Yeah, no, that is fine.
Sure.
So yeah. Phone picks up Mason residence.
Hi, is Steven there, please?
Yeah, hang on. Steven? And then, shuffle sound. Hello?
Hi, how you doing, Steven?
Really weirded out, but I'm okay.
I wanted to ask you a question. Have you ever done any acting?
In high school and like junior high?
What plays were you in when you were acting?
Like I played oh my gosh, what's his? I played Tybalt in Romeo and Juliet.
It's got to be Midsummer Night's Dream.
Awesome. You're going to need to get your hands on a copy of the complete works of Shakespeare.
Sure. Yeah. Okay.
And start getting into that style of speech. Do some practicing, and I'll be in touch.
Okay. And you just hang up.
And I hang up.
Sure.
I had no idea where he was.
Yep.
That's hilarious. He could have been walking down the street and somebody handed him a phone.
Yep.
Awesome.
Using a labyrinth. Yep.
Well,
Wonderful.
Don't call it that.
It's a little L.
Yeah, lowercase L.
The little lowercase L labyrinth.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cool.
Cool.
All right.
That's all I had for today.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I'm going to try and round everybody up at some point and talk about how we're going to get to Philly.
Sure. Well, you remember you got to wait until after Friday.
Mm-hmm.
But, yep. Okay. But yeah, so that's Monday, Tuesday. Unless
We're
anybody's
hitting
got.
Just saying that at the end of Monday, and if we're wrapping up Tuesday, I'm doing my passes with the
Yeah, Songbird.
so it should be done now. If I did it Sunday,
Can I
Monday,
get a
Tuesday.
present for after my fight?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
it's
true. Yeah. You don't get it unless you win the fight. Cool. Yeah. So we'll fast forward to Friday. Potentially. So you guys think if there's anything that you guys
Can
want to
backfill some things if we need to.
do? Right.
Do you want any help for that
No,
fight?
absolutely fucking not.
Just wanted to check.
Not here for
You know.
cheating.
Yeah, I was just saying we've already had the stealing talk. This is very clearly the. But yeah, okay. So good stuff.
I didn't think the answer would be yes, but I wanted to make the offer in case.
I appreciate it, Wyrd.
I'm here to support you, however you need it.
I appreciate
Sure.
that this is probably via like the group text.
Yeah.
Do you need any help?
So, all right, well, that's cool. Yeah, like I said, next week we will pick up with them on Friday. We probably won't actually watch Songbird roll a bunch of dice for the fight. It'll be more narrative. Songbird is a good fighter, and you better believe that Ethan found a match that Songbird
He
is
can
not
win.
going to have a problem with. Not a complete smash, but something worth watching. But so yeah, with that, guys, that is the end of episode 39. Good Lord, 39. Yeah.
Doesn't seem like it.
Yep. So thank you guys for hanging out with us. Come join us on Discord. Link is down in the show notes in YouTube and and I think it's actually. I need to work on that for Twitch. I will get something figured out here in a minute. Most of you guys know who it is. You can find links all over the place. Actually, hang on. Nope, never mind. That's not the link. And then, of course, YouTube, like, subscribe, comment. Let us know what you guys think. Very specifically, at this point, the big question is, what's in Philly? So if you guys have an idea, comments, Discord, come hang out. And then, of course, if you want to support us monetarily, come by Patreon, patreon.com/Occultists Anonymous. We love you guys. You're the best. Thank you for making us feel like rock stars.
And stay lucky.
Bye.